Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Quarantine Kitchen. Today, my friend Mike wanted eggplant parmesan, so here we go. Now, a lot of people are afraid to make it. They think there's too much oil, they think it's too tough to make it, think it's too involved. Yeah, there's some work involved, but it doesn't have to be this cheesy, soupy, terrible mess that a lot of times you get at a poorly run restaurant. So let me show you how to do it. First, you need your eggplant. Eggplant actually come in genders. There's male eggplant and female eggplant. Now the female eggplant have more seeds, and the seeds are where a lot of the bitterness is inside the eggplant. So we want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. And the way you can tell that is by looking at the butt end of the eggplant. If you look at this one right here, you see that it looks like a little belly button. It's a little dot. This would indicate that this is a male eggplant. It's going to have less seeds. Now, conversely, a female eggplant will have a slash or a dash. So you want a dot, not a dash. We're going to cut this in about 1/2 inch pieces, discarding the end. And I like to leave the peel on. Doesn't bother me one little bit. When you're at the store, don't buy the biggest eggplant you find. Bigger is not better here. And I'm not going to make any pasta with this for myself, so I'm just going to have eggplant for dinner. So, I think I'll do 1/2 of it. Hey, I'll make it all and I'll eat it another day too. About 1/2 inch slices. Now, we want to get some of the moisture out of the eggplant. That is key to this operation. So, I have my cutting board here. I'm going to put down paper towels here. And we're going to salt our eggplant generously. Just going to put some salt over here so I have it to use easy. Use kosher salt, and we're going to salt both sides. So I'm going to salt the one side and turn it over. Now most of this is going to go away, so... Oh, Dave, it's too much salt. It won't really be. We'll just remember that when we do the rest of the seasonings, and we won't oversalt a lot of the other things. And this is only on the outside. It's a big eggplant. What we want to do is draw out a lot of that water, especially the water around the seeds. But you see there's very few seeds in this eggplant. That's because we picked the male eggplant as opposed to the female eggplant. That's why you'll get bitter eggplant at a restaurant, because they buy it by the case. They get male and female. But when you're cooking for yourself or your close friends, there's nothing to stop you from getting all perfect eggplant for your dish. Okay, so there's our first side. Here's our second side. And we're going to cover this with paper towels on the other side too. Try to absorb the moisture. And then we want to weight them down with something heavy to give it time. So I'm just going to take another cutting board that's about the same size. And we're going to put things heavy down on it. Now, millennials, slow down for a second and follow along. These are phone books. They have inside numbers that we would utilize to call people. On a phone that's on the wall. This is a dictionary. It lets us know what a word means without asking Google. And we're going to let that soak and draw that moisture out, and we'll check on it in an hour, hour and a half, whenever you want. You really can't wait too long on this step. Okay, super. It's been a bit, so let's get our eggplant, the dictionaries, phone books, there we go. Lots of moisture out. Soaked. And now here's our eggplant, a lot drier. Now it's going to be ready to accept the batter. So to do that, make a little egg wash here. Going to take an egg, crack it in. Add a little bit of milk. Put just a touch of salt in there. And we're going to give that a mix. And we all set to get our breading ready. So, do that. We're going to mix up some breadcrumbs. We're going to need a lot of them. We're going to season them up. We're going to use a little bit of Parmesan cheese. This is the time when the store-bought powder stuff is actually a good thing. Every other time I'd be recommending that you use fresh. But if there's ever a time for that, this is it. Gonna mix that up some. And put in some of my garlic seasoning. There's a real shocker for anybody who knows me. So we're all set. We have our breadcrumbs ready. We have our batter ready. Gonna pick these up. Our dry hand here. Throw them in. And we're gonna use our wet hand. Put them into the breadcrumbs. Give them a little pat so they get coated on both sides. Throw a little bit more on top. And then into our iron pan they go. You always want to drop the food away from you. All right, first ones are cooking. All right, you see we have our flame at about medium here. They're bubbling up. I'm gonna let them go. I'm gonna bread up the other ones while I'm waiting for that. That way I'm ready to go. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. We're going to take a little peek at these. There we go. And this isn't really messy because we got all that extra moisture out of it when we started. So that's a big reason why we did that. Now these are going to take a couple more minutes on this side. Then we'll be able to get them ready for the oven. Okay, these should be all set. Yep, we're going to pull them off the fire onto some paper towels to drain. And we'll repeat the process. By the way, I'm making a loaf of French bread right now too. Look how all that's raised up. Gonna put those diagonal slices in it. Okay, so I'm going to show you a lot of different ways you can make your eggplant here. I'll take our 5 different pieces here. Just going to spread them out on our tray. Don't need to oil the tray, we have enough oil. We'll do the first one kind of traditional, Parmigiana. I set 2 of them up with a nice Fra Diavolo sauce, just a little bit. You want to taste everything. And we're going to take this one and put some mozzarella on it. And there we go. Now another one, if you want a little bit of a tighter cheese, or if you're a big fan of calzones, we'll put a little bit of ricotta on it. And that'll be great. And how about for this guy over here, we'll go pesto. So I'll take a little bit of pesto sauce, put that on there. And do that with some mozzarella. And then we can go the other way. We'll take one with some marinara, and we'll use just the Parmesan cheese. And why don't we do one just with pesto and Parmesan, see how that turns out. Alright, so we're going to pop them in our oven at about 450, just so the cheese is melted. And I'll be back with that in just a little bit. Okay, we have our eggplant 5 ways out of the oven. And just take a look at how that turned out. We got our regular Parmesan, we have our ricotta, we have our traditional with mozzarella, we have our pesto, and our pesto Parmesan. With a loaf of fresh bread, some Italian butter to go with it. A perfect meal anytime. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.